Hello Disney friends, my name is Hailey. Hope that you're doing well. Today we're going to look at both LEGO Cinderella Castles to not determine which one's better, but just to see the big comparisons between both of them. From 2016 to 2023, what improvements were made and what details were missed. The first biggest change we can see is, of course, scale through money, but also this kind of scale. We have about 32 inches here and about 29.5 here. Length, about 23 inches, and over here roughly 18 and a half. But for depth, roughly like a little over a foot. So this one's like a foot and 1 inch, and this one is like a foot, inch and a half, I don't know. And of course comparing their amount in bricks. Yeah. Now the 2016 version heavily reflects the Cinderella Castle we knew from day one, where this castle reflects the 50th anniversary or the newer color scheme. But numbers aside, let's take a look at the front of both of these and see what we're missing. The original LEGO 2016 Cinderella Castle is pretty standard in its construction. One of the key differences that we've noticed is the turrets in the front have just solid big Lego bricks with stickers of bricks on them. So you're kind of lacking some detail there, but it still reflects the materials. Additionally, it has lots of white accents with very little silver tones. Outside of this Cinderella Castle, you can also see lots of just rock work, not much additional coloring, just different shades of gray. Also pay attention to little details like the color of brown for the doors and for the little light posts outside. Additionally, the archway for this older castle doesn't have as much detail as the one that we'll see in a few moments. Outside this castle, however, we do have a nod to Princess and the Frog featuring the crown and two little frogs kissing. Of course, we can also see the gold flags and big tan center. You can also see the colored curtain windows in the bedroom area and some bigger iron archways. Also note this castle has a window to launch fireworks out of, and the top section is not as big in comparison to our next one. I would say this castle overall has more like window features in the actual spire, but kind of lacking a lot of textural details. Additionally, this set also comes with 5 minifigures. We have Tinkerbell, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy. Looking at the new Cinderella Castle for 2023, we can of course see the big difference of the color scheme. It has the millennial pink, rose gold tones, lots of gold accents, and those big royal blue spires. One of the biggest details you can notice on the outside is the fireworks launching off the top. While the other castle did physically launch the fireworks, this one you can see popping in action. Looking down at the front of the castle, again you can see now black colored lampposts and a lighter colored door with a curtain used for a lot of the stage shows. Additionally, you can see some more curved details and this little heart on top of the archway. This particular set came with 8 minifigures. We have the pairs of princesses. Of course, we have Cinderella and Prince Charming, Tiana and Naveen, Rapunzel and Eugene, and Snow White with the prince. One of the other biggest features that really sparks me from the outside is the addition of the water, which is included at the Walt Disney World Cinderella Castle, where you can see the 2 front turrets actually sinking down into the water and the grassy, like, floral area surrounding it. It definitely makes it look like it has more of a home and lives in this space. Compared to the 2016 one, I would say that one had more of like just a structural built, where this one looks like it feels at home. There were a lot of big similarities in terms of the construction of this set. The only big difference is some different pieces were used to create the window features, and some of the top turrets were reworked to look more rounded. Additionally, this castle also has a brick rock looking wall on the right side that is actually in the castle we see today at Walt Disney World. So it's nice they were able to expand that to its fullest design. Additionally, you can see the bricks on this one are not stickers and they are physically different colored Lego bricks, which I think looks a lot nicer. So the 2023 castle has more minifigures, has fireworks at the top. This one has a firework launcher and comes with the classic characters. This one has the additional tower in the side. This one does not. It also has this extra little spire over here that this one does not have. It's very, very interesting. This one's a little more blocky, a little more Lego looking, and this one they've made pretty seamless. This one has a outdoor space. This one is just the structure. It's hard to pick a favorite because they both have their own neat stuff for different reasons. although it's been so many years since we've seen the castle look like this, that this one just feels so much more right. And maybe it's because of these just additional 2 pieces. It's hard to say, but the price sure does show from the front. But the construction of both of these was so similar. You can tell that they copy pasted this over here and just tweaked some adjustments, replaced some pieces, and that was it. So if you've built this castle before, this one will look oddly familiar. So they are basically the same, but this one is just enhanced, reimagined, if you will. It also has a bigger like deck area, I'm not really sure what to call that, between the 2 pieces, between this main part and the base. So you can fit more minifigures behind here, although this one does have a little shooting range for Brave, which I was surprised that Merida wasn't featured in the more princessy castle versus this one. After really looking at both of these, I can conclude this one is more medieval looking with its touches, and this one is more enchanted, more princess-like, which is funny because Enchanted 50th, you get it, you get it. You can definitely tell this one has more of a princess look to it, princess touches, the smooth rounded edges, like it's very like enchanted, very magical. And this one is like knights, bow and arrows, gray, brown, blacks, like fire, like more medieval on the interior touches, and does not have as many nods and references as this one does, but some of the nods that this one has are the exact same that this one had. So I was a little bit disappointed with, they didn't get too creative with the interior because it's basically the same, but you can tell that LEGO has learned more of their craft between both of these sets. But I won't leave you hanging, it's time to look at the back. Now, of course, looking at the back of both of these, we can tell that the 2023 one, of course, is bigger and does have a few more rooms than the one from 2016. However, if we look at the ballroom area, the first floor of the 2016 version, we can see that the doors once again push in and it leads into a textured tiled looking floor. But as I mentioned, this definitely looks more medieval. You can tell by the textured columns, the torches hanging up, there's a clock and random flower pot, and there's also knights and shields hanging up on the wall. This one also does have some secret little corridor hallways, although they're not wide enough for minifigures to fit inside of them. Also on the first floor, the only nod to a Disney movie in particular is the magic carpet and lamp hanging on the left side of the wall. Otherwise, this is pretty bland, pretty standard, and looks what you would expect a castle to look like inside of it. But looking over at the 2023 version, we can once again see those doors push into a slightly bigger feeling ballroom because it does have 2 hallway corridors on both sides that minifigures could indeed stand behind and walk through if they so choose. Both of them have chandeliers, although the one hanging in this newer version does have more flower-like enchanted features. We can also see more little candles hanging from the walls versus the 2 big torches. We can also see like thicker, rounder columns with rounded edges and little bunting around the top. We can see sparkly silver pictures of each of the featured minifigure princesses. Little doorway window looking out into the enchanted little forest area, which is a nod to Pocahontas there with the floating leaves. Over on the left-hand side, we can see that new little tower addition that features a pumpkin nodding to Cinderella, the picture and sword for Mulan, and then the little dingle hoppers and things for Ariel. We can also see a nod to Sword in the Stone down there, which I think is just like a funny nod to the parks. Now back over to the 2016 version, the second floor also has a fun little hidden feature where you lift up this particular turret and it reveals what looks to be a glass slipper in a box and a Magic Kingdom castle looking storybook. We can also see the upper level is brown, again with those little nods to Brave on the outside. And then back inside we do have this little like nook waiting room area. You can see the curtains hanging down, which definitely look a lot more brick-like, very sharp edges. And of course we can see nods to Beauty and the Beast there with Lumiere and the Rose. Over in the kitchen, this is where I said it looks a lot more like medieval looking. Not very many nods here except for the pumpkin for Cinderella. It's just a lot darker, kind of basic. There are knives hanging on the wall, so that's very interesting. Lots more like tableware and things though in this particular set. Now looking over the second floor of the newer castle, again has that little feature that you can lift up, but you can see it does have the little brick detailing all the way around this time. This one reveals many items specifically for the 100th. We have a camera, a sketch of Steamboat Willie, and the beautiful silver magic wand. Additionally, in the inside, we can see once again a kitchen area, which has a fun themed floor with the black and white checkers. We can also see some nods to Beauty and the Beast there with Mrs. Potts and Chip, a cute little sink, oven, and then in the dining room, we have a nice red tablecloth with, I believe, a better looking Lumiere in this particular set, and some tableware and another chandelier. You can also notice the curtains are more of a curved shape and a little more elegant than the previous one. You can just tell more detail was put into this one. Still looking at the 2016 one, we can see the nods to Aurora with the spinning wheel, and there's also another little attic type space with once again a nod to Fantasia. On the upper level of the 2023 version, we can see a nod to Tangled with her mural, which is very, very pretty. It also comes with a paint palette, paintbrush, and fireplace. And there's a bunch of fun nods here in this little bookcase study room. We can see the genie lamp with the magic carpet. We can see the rose for Beauty and the Beast once again, as well as the bookshelf. We can also see some nods to Moana with a picture of Maui and the oar in its little holding place. And if you look once again, we can see a bedroom up on the next floor. The one in 2016 has a yellow bedspread with purple flooring and lots of detail there on the headboard with a pink draped curtain over it covering more of the windows. And you can see the same shape of the room in the 2023 one, which does have a purple bedspread, which is really cool how they chose like fold it. And this one also has one pillow where the other one had two. You can see darker purple drapes as well with a lot more layering texture in this particular design. Additionally, this little spire top of the castle has a random little caged in window with an apple inside to nod Snow White. Now jumping back once again, 2016, we have the final spire. This one only has 2 rooms with the top deck. That first room has a little treasure chest with the different fireworks that launch outside of it. Above that, we once again have an apple to, you guessed it, Snow White with the magic mirror, which is some very basic like detail work around it. And then lastly, we have the top deck, which is barely room to just stand one minifigure in, so that can be a little bit tight squeeze. And lastly, moving back over to the 2023 version, we can see a nod once again there to Sleeping Beauty with the spinning wheel. But if you turn it, I believe this is supposed to represent Maleficent, but I feel that this area is kind of lacking and confusing in its details. But it's fun that it has a little spinning element. Right above that, we also have once again a magic mirror, but this one is just a sticker, although I think it looks a lot more clean, finished, and of course shiny compared to the other one, and it has fun little curtains hanging around it. And then just above that we have, I believe, a better looking glass slipper, easier to identify, on a little purple cushion with the table and the drapes, and everything matches really cute. And then moving up once again from that, we have the final little top deck area, which could fit, I believe, 2 to 3 minifigures possibly, which would be a good view for them to look out over their kingdom with. You can also see the final spires have more of a pointed, sharper edge with the gold touches and the flag, where the 2016 version does not. So let me know in the comments which castle is your favorite. Are there any details that I missed covering? Let me know. There's lots and lots to look at here, but again, I thought it was interesting just how many parts were just the exact same, which I understand because it is the same castle, just a little bit upgraded version, so still happy to put it up on display. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll have all my other LEGO videos linked down below, and as always, remember to do what you love and do what makes you happy, and I will see you all next time. Bye!